740 FICO, utilization down to 8%. You did everything the playbook says. Then you apply to 5 banks and you get 3 approvals and 2 flat denials. The reason isn't your score. The reason is that you applied to the wrong bureau. Today, I'm walking you through the 5 inquiry mistakes that tank an app spree before underwriting ever sees the application. None of these are about your credit score. All of them are about the inquiry layer that most credit content skips. Hey, I'm Flo. I run the Credit to Capital Blueprint, where we walk through what actually works in 2026, not what worked 3 years ago, and copy paste it onto YouTube ever since. Last week, I broke down the BLOC qualification gate, the 4 things you need in place before you apply for a business line of credit. This week, I want to go a layer deeper. We're inside the application now. The inquiry moves that decide whether the gate even gets tested or whether you tank the whole thing before underwriting opens the file. If you're new here, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's get into the 5. Mistake number 1. You go straight to a hard application without running soft pull prequels first. Here's why that's the most expensive mistake on this list. A hard inquiry costs you the same whether you get approved or denied. Same hit, same 24-month visibility on your report. Same 12 months of FICO impact, usually under 5 points each. But those add up fast when you're stacking apps. Every hard inquiry on a denied application is pure waste. You pay the same price as approval for none of the upside. A soft pull prequal lets you screen for that approval probability before you fire the hard inquiry. Most major issuers, Amex, Chase, Citi, Capital One, Wells Fargo, Discover, Bank of America, all run pre-qualification tools where you put in your info and they tell you whether you're likely to get approved. Soft pull, no damage to your score. Here's a rule I follow. Never fire a hard inquiry on an issuer where you haven't first checked the prequal. If the prequel says no offers right now on a major issuer, that's not a signal to go apply anyway. That's the signal to wait, address what's ever blocking you, and come back. From what I've seen in the field, when a major issuer's prequel returns a yes, the actual approval rate when you formally apply is high. Not guaranteed. Pre-qual is a probability indicator, not a promise, but it's the cleanest probability indicator you have. The way I look at it, the prequal tool isn't a gate to skip when you're confident. It's the only thing standing between you and a hard inquiry on an application that was never going to approve. One more reason prequels matter. It doesn't just predict approval, it predicts the limit you can expect. From an aggregated data set of 340 documented credit app sprees, the limit pattern by FICO band looks like this. 680 to 710. Expect $3,000 to $8,000 per approved card. 710 to 740. $8,000 to $15,000. 740 to 780. $15,000 to $30,000. Above 780, $30,000 and up. That's what you're trading the hard inquiry for. If you're at 685 looking at a card whose prequal returned yes, you're budgeting one inquiry against an $8,000 ceiling. Below the band you can tolerate. The math says wait. Mistake number 2. You blast 8 to 10 applications across all 3 bureaus in one afternoon. The right rule here is more specific than space out your applications. The right rule is cap any single execution day at 5 applications and audit which bureau each one pulls before you submit. Here's why the count matters. Every additional same-day application stacks on the same credit profile snapshot. The way I look at it, applying to too many lenders in too short a window puts you in a manual review queue at best and an auto decline at worst. I'm not going to claim every bank has a fraud algorithm tuned to a specific number that varies. What I can tell you is that the community pattern is consistent. 5 or fewer apps per game day gets cleaner approvals than blasting 10 in one afternoon. But the bigger move is the bureau audit. We'll get deep on that in the next 2 mistakes. For now, cap 5 per game day. If you want to apply to more than 5 banks total in your spree, you space additional batches across multiple game days, not multiple hours. One nuance the playbook usually misses. Same day applications to the same lender, usually a credit union, sometimes bundle into a single hard pull instead of multiple. That's the inverse of the cross-issuer rule. If you're applying for a personal loan and a credit card and a line of credit at the same credit union, submitting all 3 on the same day is often better than spacing them. Several major credit unions have documented hard pull bundle windows for same CU applications. I'm not going to name specific institutions in this video because the windows change, but it's in the lead magnet. Mistake number 3. You start an app spree with 6 or more hard inquiries already on your report. If you've been applying for credit over the last 12 months, credit cards, auto loans, that BLOC application we talked about last week, every one of those is a hard inquiry still actively scoring against you. FICO weighs inquiries inside the prior 12 months. After 12 months, the inquiry stays visible on the report for another 12 months, but stops affecting your score. The rule of thumb from our modules and from the community, both. 5 or fewer hard inquiries on each bureau before you walk into a spree. If you got 6 or 7 or 8 already on file, the math doesn't work. Most major issuers, especially the Chase 524 rule, will auto decline you regardless of your score. Quick word on the Chase 524 rule, because most people get the mechanics wrong. The Chase 524 is not 5 inquiries in 24 months. It's 5 accounts opened in the last 24 months across all issuers, not just Chase. Closed cards still count if they were opened in that window. Denied applications don't count. They show up as inquiries but not as open accounts. And most Chase business cards don't add to your 524 count, but Chase will still decline your business application if you're already over 524 on personal. So the fix here has 2 steps. Step 1, pull all 3 credit reports from annualcreditreport.com 2 to 4 weeks before your spree. Count the hard inquiries on each bureau. Step 2, if any single bureau is at 6 or more, either wait for older inquiries to age past the 12-month FICO window or address the disputable ones the right way. We'll talk about what the right way means in mistake 5. Real quick, if you're getting value from this, drop a comment with the word inquiries, and I'll send you the inquiry mistakes checklist I put together for this video. It walks through the bureau audit and the 5 mistake gate as a printable. Alright, mistake number 4, and this is the one that ties the whole thing together. Mistake number 4, you apply without knowing which bureau each lender pulls. This is the mistake that creates the hook scenario from the start of this video. You walked in with what looked like a clean profile, 740 FICO, utilization down, no late payments. Then 5 banks denied 2 of you and you don't know why. The reason is bureau concentration. Here's a practical pattern in 2026. Experian is the most pulled bureau for major card issuers. Amex pulls Experian. Bank of America pulls Experian. Chase pulls Experian. They rotate by state and product, but Experian leads. Citi pulls Experian. Discover pulls Experian. Wells Fargo pulls Experian. Capital One is the exception. They pull all three. So if the Experian is the bureau where you happen to have your highest existing inquiry count, blasting applications at Chase plus Amex plus Citi plus Discover plus Wells Fargo on the same day means you're hitting the same lock 5 times in a row. You aren't spreading impact across 3 bureaus. You concentrate it on one. The fix is a simple spreadsheet you built before the spree. 3 columns: bank name, which bureau they pull, your current inquiry count on that bureau. Then you sequence. If your Equifax count is 2 and your Experian count is 5, your first applications go to Equifax pullers, usually some of the credit union options and certain regional banks. Save the Experian pullers for later in the spree. For the major issuers in 2026, Experian is the lock you're walking through every time. The bureau by bureau strategy works best at the credit union and regional bank level, where pull patterns are more bureau specific. For the majors, you're optimizing the bureau you have to use, not avoiding it. Mistake number 5 is usually 2 mistakes that ride together at the end of a spree gone wrong. First half, not every pre-qualification form is a true soft pull. I've seen reports of certain credit union pre-qual forms that ask for extra information mid-flow and then run the inquiry as a hard pull, sometimes more than one. If a pre-qual form asks for your social security number, your date of birth, and your full income upfront before showing you any offers, pause. Read the disclosure. The clean pre-qual flow gives you an estimate based on basic information and only escalates to a hard pull when you formally accept and apply. The trap version converts during the form itself. Here's a clean signal you can look for on the other side of this. The strongest pre-quals UIs use a 2-button pattern, a yellow or amber accept button after the soft pull, which gives you the actual offer terms without firing a hard inquiry, and a separate green apply button you have to consciously click to convert into the hard pull. If you see that 2-button structure, you're in safe territory. If the form collapses both into one click after extra info, that's a conversion path. Don't assume pre-qualification means soft pull universally. Read what you're agreeing to. Second half, you got denied. Now what? Reconsideration is the most underused tool in credit, and it's also the most overstated. Most major issuers have a reconsideration line. Within about 30 days of a denial, you can call, request review, and provide additional information the original underwriter didn't have. But the win rate depends on which layer of underwriting actually denied you. If you got denied for a hard binary gate, Chase 524, a frozen bureau, a recent bankruptcy window, an address mismatch, the rep can't override it. The computer's running the rule, not the human. Recon recovers roughly 0% of those. Reconsideration's actual sweet spot is the soft layer, utilization that's since been paid down, and inquiry that's aged off, income documentation that didn't make it into the original file. If something has materially changed between the denial and the call, that's the highest leverage recon you'll ever do. If nothing's changed, save the breath. So the rule isn't recon every denial, it's recon when you have something new to bring. Now the bigger mistake at the recovery layer, disputing hard inquiries that aren't actually inaccurate. Here's a rule: disputable doesn't equal inaccurate. If you have an inquiry on your report from an application you didn't make, fraud, or a pre-qual form that ran as a hard pull without your consent. That's disputable. Bureaus will investigate, and federal rules give them 30 to 40 days to resolve. If the inquiry is from an application you did make and just got denied on, that's not a disputable inquiry. The Bureau will verify it as accurate. You'll have burned a dispute slot, and the inquiry stays. Don't let credit repair content fool you on this. There's no clever script that disputes legitimate inquiries off your report. The dispute process is for inaccurate items. Use it correctly. Let me close this out with the 5 mistake checklist and the inquiry gate I want you to hit before you submit a single hard application. The 5 mistakes. Fast. 1. No soft pull prequal layer before hard pulls. Fix. Prequal first, every major issuer. 2. Velocity without bureau awareness. Fix. Cap 5 per game day cross issuer. Same day bundles on eligible CUs. 3. Walking in with 6 plus existing inquiries on any bureau. Fix. 2 to 4 week pre-spree audit. Target less than or equal to 5 each. Ideally less or equal to 3. 4. Not knowing which bureau each bank pulls. Fix. Pull the spreadsheet. Sequence by your cleanest bureau first. 5. Misusing the pre-qual form, then misusing the dispute process. Fix. Read disclosures. Call reconsideration on every denial, and remember, disputable does not equal inaccurate. Here's the stage 4 inquiry gate. 4 things in place before you apply to anything. 1. Soft pull pre-qual completed for every issuer on your target list. 2. Bureau by bureau inquiry count audited. 5 or fewer on each. 3. Utilization under 10% on your statement date, not your current balance. 4. Clear plan for game day cadence capped at 5 applications max. All 4, not 3 out of 4, that's the gate. If you're not at all 4, the work in front of you isn't your spree. It's hitting the gate first. That's the checklist linked in the description. If this was helpful, comment inquiries below and I'll send a checklist. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next. And remember, this content is for educational purposes only. Always do your own research before making any financial decisions. See you next time.